Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the South Kesteven series, 83 parishes surrounding the town of Grantham in southern Lincolnshire, which are full of history. Let's check one of them out. Welcome back to South Kesteven, everybody, where it is still raining profusely. But I suppose it's better than being in the hot summer heat that we've just had. Now this one, its biggest landmark is without a doubt its hall, and that is behind these trees right here. You can't see it because it's well and truly out of shot, and I don't know how much of it I'm going to be able to catch, but it is quite important, so if I can't catch much of it with the camera, I will of course give you it in today's special section. This is Stubetune. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. South Kesteven this week brings us to Stubetune, a tiny village which lies close to the A1 and A17, 6 miles southeast of Newark. Largely rural, the parish covers over 1,100 acres and several tributaries of the River Witham and River Brant have their sources within its boundaries. Claypole Parish lies to the west and Fenton Parish to the north. The name Stubetune is Old English. It literally refers to the forested-like area which once surrounded the village because it means farmstead where there are tree stumps. In the Domesday Book, Stubetune appears as Stubetune. Stubetune is famous for being the location of Stubton Hall, a 19th century country house which is now one of the best wedding venues in the country. It was built for Sir Robert Heron, who had quite a large hand in another piece of Claypole history. Stick with me on that one. It was he who in 1800 completely rebuilt and resited the parish church, the same building which still stands in the village today. Stubetune may be small, but that has probably helped it to win several awards. In 2021, for example, it won the Best Kept Village in Lincolnshire competition, and here we'll see what it was awarded for that achievement. It has no shop or any kind of amenity other than a village hall, but it does have some interesting animals if you know where to go. So come with me around another wet South Kesteven village and let's check it all out. We begin at the Village Hall, a modern brick building which was constructed with millennial funding from the National Lottery. Stubetune's won some awards in the past and they're displayed here. It was the best kept village in Lincolnshire in 2012 and 2021. The road we're on here is Fenton Road and we're looking south towards the village centre, a tiny village centre at that. Stubetune has a nice mixture of both old and new properties. Here's one of the older ones, this fabulous barn conversion. It also has an old red phone box in the centre of town, as it were. No phone here though, but there is a defibrillator. Next to that, there's a litter bin, not something I usually film, but it's coloured gold in honour of that Best Kept Village win in 2021. Then there's a little shelter which has Stubetune's parish notice board. This is where I would usually leave a card, of course. However, check this out. They have an items for display box right next to it. How thoughtful is that?
On the next corner is the village green with an old road sign and a bench. It's not hard to see why Stubton has won several awards. This is Brandon Road, which leads to the village of the same name located to the east, which is famed for its shooting grounds. There's a cul-de-sac off it, Cherry Lane, which is a collection of bungalows. There's a pond around the back of this too. After that, the road starts to taper off into the countryside, but not before it's passed by Stubton's only religious building.
So as you leave the village to the east, you come to the church, which you can see right behind me just there. It's a tall tower with its 4 pinnacles, one at each corner of said tower. We're going to go over there now and have a look at that church in a bit more detail.
The church is a Grade 2 listed building dedicated to St Martin. It was built between 1799 and 1800 by the then owner of Stubton Hall. The previous church was pulled down because it was in a state of disrepair. A chancel was added to this new church in 1869. In front of the church is a limestone pillar dating from 1854. This is Sir Robert Heron or Therabar's monument. More on him later. The original church in Stubton was opposite Stubton Hall. This new site is commonly known as Bemrose's Croft. St Martin's is built in the Gothic Revival style in ashlar and blue lias. It has a wagon roof and a piscina in the north wall. Next to the church is a little unnamed cul-de-sac which is wholly residential, consisting mainly of modern 20th century housing. And here's what it looks like the other way. There is a clue down here, though, to a former important local amenity.
And also, as you exit the church here, there's a stone you'll find in the wall of the church grounds. Here it is. CN, or it could be GN, 1855. And the plaque above tells you what this is all about. This stone from Stubton School, closed July 1971, was resited here by the parish council in November 1975. So a piece of school history there being preserved at the church. Lovely. Nice little church, nice little churchyard. Let's continue this walk around.
J&J Alpacas are located close to Stubton. It's an alpaca centre and coffee shop, and we might see them in a future episode. Here's the Manor House, a tiny limestone rubble cottage which dates back to the 18th century. It's another Grade 2 listed building. The road starts to bend towards Doddington after that, but we're staying in Stubton by way of an unusual footpath. It runs down Hargreaves Row, and this isn't your normal public right-of-way as it passes right through some locals' front gardens. Don't be put off by these bungalows, you're fine to walk through here. It just goes to show how hard it is to close a footpath off. It then turns southwards for a short way, crossing a field towards the woods you can see in the distance. This wasn't fun in the wet. Stubton is surrounded by a lot of arable farmland. It's flat too. The highest point around here is Stubber Hill, somewhere in these fields. Now, I know a lot of my viewers use my videos to find brand new places to walk their dogs. I would recommend this wood. It's not a big one and it's totally flat. The path through it is well defined and it's an easy walk. Can't ask for more, no? It's not all about the trees, there's a couple of other features in here like a wooden bridge and a small pond. Eventually you emerge at Hilltop Farm. This is located on Claypole Road, a few hundred yards from the village centre. Cross the road and you're offered a pretty decent view into the surrounding valley where the River Witham flows. Back into the village now, and you're looking here at a pair of buildings which bear a date stone of 1930 in their gables. After that, there's a few more residential properties on the other side of the road before you're back into familiar territory.
And via this road and those houses, we're now at the centre of the village once again, where the gold litter bin was. You can just about recognise this area here. You've got the phone box there, the litter bin there, the shelter there. And a left turn takes you to Stubton Hall, which is the last thing to talk about.
Stubton Hall is a large Grade II listed country house built in 1813 and 14 for Sir Robert Heron, the second Baronet. It was designed by Sir Geoffrey Wyatville, who's perhaps best known for his work at Windsor Castle, Woburn Abbey and Chatsworth House in Derbyshire. Heron was a poor law reformer, and it was thanks to him that neighbouring Claypole had a poor law union workhouse. It was sited where Gretton Close is now, on the road to Fernwood and the A1. Since Stubton Hall was built, very little has changed. Many of the specimen trees planted in the grounds by Heron himself are still thriving. In 1918, the hall was purchased by Sir Edmund Royds, and following his death in 1946, it was acquired by Lincolnshire County Council. From 1952 to 2003, they used it as a boarding school. The current owners, though, who bought it in 2006, use it as a hotel and wedding venue. Since opening as such in 2009, the wedding and events business has thrived at Stubton Hall, and this is now considered to be one of the country's top venues for both. Its key attractions include an orangery with seating for 200 guests and landscape gardens, the ideal backdrop for wedding photographs. And Stubton Hall is the ideal way for us to round off another South Kesteven parish. See you all next week.
Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.